or set up? Everybody's got glasses and ice, and
I got glasses.
I think so. I think I'm ready to roll. I got plenty of booze. So basically,
good.
the Boulevardier is the bourbon version of the Negroni.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, because we did 2 bourbon cocktails last week. I was thinking about bourbon, and, but obviously want to go some other direction. It's just like, there's a lot of cocktails that just, it's one ingredient. And even in these 2, like what bourbon you use matters, what gin you use matters. I use a different vermouth. So Ian, I actually don't know what vermouth you're using, but, Gallo, excellent. It's shit. So you'll be
Hey, Gallo's my people. Gallo's been good to me. So.
Good. I mean, good. Hey, you're allowed to like it, and I mean that's we use.
It's the barefoot.
Yeah, that's fine. So I don't like most vermouths that you can buy in the store, but there was one I found that was passable by itself. Like you could actually drink it a little bit. So.
Oh,
that's what I used for.
I thought you were about to say, well, I just went ahead and made my own.
Actually, Sean, you know what? Can you drop that notch, that volume down just a little bit, because
sure.
It's clear, it's good, but you're not balanced with Ian. So be careful of just talking over one another, because I can't hear either of you.
Heard.
How's my my speech volume?
You're a little soft.
A little soft. Okay, I just gotta lean in a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Just gotta get my distance right.
Check. John, just like a line from Lincoln Park. It's shut up when I'm talking to you.
I feel you.
Alrighty then. Cool. So we're all set.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done any of the live setup yet. I'm gonna think of something's halfway witty to write down on my sign. The 3 seconds to show that this lasts.
We only have 15 minutes, dude.
So yeah, let's get it together. Witty.
I should have thought of this maybe on the 4-hour, 5-hour drive I had home today, but
something weedy.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, I was thinking about weed.
How was your trip?
It's nice. I got a little burned,
as
always, because I'm pale.
Right.
Strange. Right.
There you go. I got my
walking down a long and dusty road. And out popped a demon. Whip snap with his whippy tail.
You know, I saw at the liquor store today. I saw the Lucid, and I was like, we got to do the absinthe one of these days too. We talked about that before.
I'm totally good with doing an absinthe episode.
Yeah.
I'll whip out my picture book, The History of Absinthe.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to say whip off. That was weird.
Excuse me while I whip this off.
The sheriff is near. I haven't smoked at all.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there. This is normal weird.
So Derek from Dropadelic's going to be driving through on Monday and paying us a visit.
Sweet.
I always love Derek. So Sean, have you watched the show at all?
I hate to admit that I have not. I apologize. I should have done my research.
All right. You'll be hooked after tonight, and then you'll just have to continue watching.
Yeah. But at least watch this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really cool concept for sure. I did Sean's other show though.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wasted Knowledge.
Yeah. So I've heard a few episodes of that for sure.
There you go. I don't think we're anything like that though, are we?
Okay.
Well, this is more of a short format kind of interviews thing. Whereas like the other one, it's a long form. You're talking to someone just about them for an hour, 2 to 3 hours.
Right. This is more of a variety show.
It is.
We sit here and
dig
get drunk and just shoot the shit, basically.
Yeah, that being said, should I get a warm-up beer?
Yeah. You got one, get one.
Well, you're going to have to remember you have 3 beers and 2 cocktails. So.
rye, and got.
I was drinking water.
So I found this beer called Choco Blanco at Grumpy Old Men, and it's a white chocolate beer.
Nice.
It fucking tastes like white chocolate.
That's cool.
But it's got that like hint of it, but it's like, you remember Sweetwater Blue? How it had that like hint of blueberry?
Right.
It's like that, but with white chocolate.
Is it like a stout?
No,
What kind of beer is it?
it's like I think it was an ale.
Okay.
$9.50. All right.
It was either a light ale or a lager even.
You got 9 minutes, guys.
9 minutes heard.
Ooh, look at that bottle. What's that? Your sweet vermouth?
This is my sweet vermouth.
What do you
Trincherry.
What's that?
Of course, it's not going to focus. There we go. Trincherry.
Okay.
Also out of California, but it's just a little smoother.
Y'all got a theme song?
You know, I was just
Yeah.
thinking that you need to make the theme song. You were just riffing before about the Beery Traveler. I was like, you know what? You got to make our theme song. Make that happen,
It's gotta be
Sean.
a very like medieval epic. Like,
Yes.
that's why I was thinking that Tenacious D song.
You know,
came to mind.
but we did,
I heard
we
that
did
right
talk
away.
about the
We're
social
on-
drinker.
Yeah.
The social drinker from Ballyhoo.
Hmm.
They were on the tail of the boat dogs. They take the dough and they mixed it up and it was a Romeo.
Yeah.
Got to be 1 minute or less.
Right?
But I love it. I'll make that go
Yeah.
viral. It'll be fun.
Sound Gordon Lightfoot-ish.
Yeah,
a little bit.
that's kind of the legend lives on of the Chippewa.
Yeah, you know that song.
We have Evan Fitzgerald.
Yeah. I grew up in Minnesota. We hear all that stories in school growing up about the Edmund
Oh, yeah.
Fitzgerald. We went up there one summer, drove up to where the port was. It went from Duluth,
Other
but
way, sir, other way.
there's a
Other way?
further up
Damn it.
Grand
Yep.
Marais, yeah. And there's a like a mural about it.
No, you know, we already have them set, but yep, that's fine.
But they're gonna be on my table, so.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what rhymes with traveler. That's a hard word. Like unravel her.
Or a drunken babbler.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh, there
that's
we
right.
go.
Oh, nice. I like it.
The Beery Traveler becomes the drunken babbler.
Drunken babbler. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. How much time do we got? 7 minutes.
So,
Be back.
man.
I'm gonna do the quick pee break before the show, so I'm good to go through the show.
It's a toughie. It's a toughie with all the beer.
It
Man.
is.
I'm just trying to think if I have any of my Ren Fair garb now. That's a music video.
On the Beery Traveler. I don't know. I'm not there yet, but we'll get there. Find something.
It's only been like 15 minutes. It's fine. Who know?
5 minutes.
All right.
We had the 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, and you're on. We should get that every week, Ty.
What?
6 minutes.
Do 6
Dougie
minutes?
Fresh, the 80s, like the beginning of rap music. You could sing it.
I don't even know it, and I was there in the
Well,
80s.
you'll know it. You'll know it before next week.
Oh, man. That would be hilarious.
Wyland, yeah, that's a much better shot, by the way. Where your camera is, Wyland.
Oh, okay, cool. Excellent.
Y'all remember the
the
canoe party? We had the 420, the G13 on draft, didn't we? They had the keg that they were giving it to us.
Yep.
It's Jared's deal.
That was last year, wasn't it?
No.
2 years ago.
You worked there too long, Ty.
4 years.
God. Been to that many of those parties. Been to 6 or 7 of them.
5.
No, this will be my 7th party this year.
Wow.
I remember because I started like 2 weeks before the first one. So we were like, Alicia and I were like, should we go? Should we not go? Like, undecided, if we fit in yet, So we went there, and I remember pulling into the parking lot, and this was the last year alcohol was allowed on the river, because when we pulled in, like I said, I've worked here for 2 weeks, and there's 4 guys carrying some girl off into the parking lot because she just passed out. It was Rachel, I think. I think she was with Todd Nation for a while.
Oh. Yeah. Oh.
We got 2 minutes. Sean, don't forget to make me host.
Yeah, hold on.
Leslie,
I have some issues with Facebook Live here.
In the wine room. So Vince was like, "No more hard liquor." And then the next year, I think George was born, and that was George's first party. And he was like 2 weeks old, and we were passing him around the party all drunk. And then last year he went.
Why was George drunk?
Huh?
Why was George drunk?
No, George wasn't drunk. We were all drunk, just handing him off. Like he got every drunk person held him.
All right, we got 1 minute, guys.
All right.
It's going very slowly, but it's moving.
Find a more drunken babbler than tonight on the beery traveler.
There you go.
Sane,
like an old British ballad. Like we're riding into battle.
Exactly.
With our swords and our armor.
And a man behind you banging 2 coconuts together as a gallop.
Can do.
We'll start, and I'm going to start when I see live on Facebook on this screen, because I always feel like it's delayed anyway when I don't. You'll say, oh, and we're live, but then I watch it later and like we've been live for like a couple minutes, or 9 minutes, but so I'll be ready.
Anytime, Sean. We're good to go. Have a great show, guys.
All right. Thanks, Ty.
Just putting in the hashtags for the video.
Hi, the director, everybody.
Sweetwater. Hemp. Who else is on this?
Some kind of beer.
What's with the other brewers?
Negroni.
New Belgium.
New Belgium. Hemp Tails.
That's like I said. I had a hard time finding Rockwell Brewing out of Rochester, New York. That's what they were.
All right, I'm pressing the button, so as soon as you see it, Ian. I say we do it.
I will say go. We are live right now on the Beery Traveler. My name is Ian. We have Sean Spencer with us as our musical guest.
Hello, everybody.
Of course, Sean, the bartender, with us as always. There you go. Better drink your Wheaties. Yes, we will be, because we are doing hemp-style beers tonight. One of them actually is a seltzer. We're going to be trying out the Sweetwater 420 strain G13 IPA. They actually have a series of those. They have a mango kush as well. We're also going to be trying the New Belgium's, the Hemperor, which is an HPA brewed with hemp. And then the other one, the Hemp Tails, is a hard seltzer from Rockwell Brewing in Rochester, New York. So we're branching out a little bit. We're getting out of Atlanta a little bit. Sweetwater, of course.
This is going to be
Sweetwater,
interesting.
of course, is here in Atlanta, but New Belgium has two facilities. They have one in Fort Collins, Colorado, and then they also have one in Asheville, North Carolina. Both great facilities. But Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I assume you mean me. I guess there's two Seans.
Yeah, there's two Seans.
All right. So, yeah, I'm a musician. I have a solo career going right now. I go by Sean Spencer, but I've been playing for many years. Was in a band for a long time called Seven Handle Circus, which was a bluegrass jam band. And that went pretty well until that, things have to end, and it ended. So now restarting as a solo project, kind of going off on my own now. And what else do you want to know?
Well, I'm glad that you said you've been doing it many years, because I was kind of worried when I did give you the beers that you might not have been 21. But look kind of young.
Yeah, no, I get that. I have this young look. I get carded at my friends' weddings. It happened my good friend Pistol Hill got married a couple months ago, and he's a great country artist. So we write songs together a lot. But I was at his wedding. It was actually at his dad's house, beautiful house. But it was literally at his house, and with a catering company. They carded me.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys want to dive into the first beer?
Yeah, let's do it.
The Sweetwater 420 strain.
As we crack this open, Sean, what was your first beer, man?
My first beer ever?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember my very, very first beer, besides like sips of like my dad's Corona or something. But I do remember that.
Your first good beer.
Right. Well, when I was in high school, when I got my first fake ID, it worked at this one gas station, and as soon as it worked at one gas station, like that was it. That was the place I was going when I was about 16 years old. And so, but the best beer they had there was Beck's beer. And so that was what I drank for several years throughout high school, which, not the fanciest beer, but it's a good staple of German.
Beck's is good.
Quality.
Definitely a good European lager.
I call it the Rednecks Heineken, but that's Well,
Cheers,
this I can smell this like as soon as I popped it open. So this is going to be interesting.
It's got a citrusy note to it as well. So
a little cloudy, good amber color.
This one is 6.6% actually, even APV. So it's got a little kick to it. They use Columbus Simcoe hops on this one, which are very danky hops. And then they use terpenes, is what really the flavoring of the beer comes from. So if you're not familiar with what terpenes are,
I'm not.
It's basically like an organic resin or sap almost, really, where hops will resonate. Marijuana will resonate with where it basically bleeds out, or an oil, or like I said, a resin, or what in this case it's the terpenes. And so what they do is they develop the terpenes, and then they add that to the beer, and that's where they get the flavor. And that's also, if you remember, we talked a couple weeks ago with Mitch Steele from New Realm, and he said where They use
Right.
different kind of extractions in that, and then it just couldn't get passed. This is an organic way of doing it, so it makes it legal.
When you say resonate, you mean RESINATE,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
RESONATE, which would be a very different word.
Right.
I'm just realizing I didn't realize that was a word, resonate, like to expel resin.
Yeah.
Huh.
So basically, when you they used to have one they called hop hash. Sweetwater did, and what they would do is they would use the Pellitzer bowl, the hops. When they would collect the hops in the baskets, they would scrape those bowls and use that resin as well in the beer when they made it a few years ago.
Oh wow!
I like that beer, the hop hash.
It's gone now.
I haven't seen it, and I've always had my suspicions that it kind of became another beer that's on their menu. It's their kind of their lighter IPA. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it definitely resembled it.
Going coastal.
No, it's not that one. It'll come to me like in the middle of the show, and I'll just blurt it out. So.
This is it's interesting. This is like 4 different like flavors, like as you drink it.
Yeah, and it levels. Yeah, like you got citrusy, you got
citrusy, and then hoppy, and then dank, and then
and a little bit almost like dandelion at the end.
Yeah, like a bitter herb on the end.
Uh-huh.
Bitter, edible herb. That's not what I'm going to say either. A bitter salad herb. There we go.
Yes.
So what's the rule? Do we all have to finish this one before moving on?
Don't have to finish it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I love it. I'm down to finish it. I just
yeah, you have to chug it.
I just
in the next 45 minutes, we're going to have 3 beers and 2 cocktails.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Whatever pace you feel like
that's
most.
Fine.
Yeah,
that's often why we go.
Get me drunk just in time for me to play, so I sound much worse. You don't want
that's
anyone to think that I'm like quality here.
You'll be fine.
You'll make it as long as you really are 21.
I'm actually quite old. Do you want to play a game? You want to play a guess my age?
Yes.
The
guess the age.
I think I have a better context for knowing or at least guessing how old you are.
Well, that's
right. You can go first.
I have a guess. Since I have no idea, let me take a guess. I'm going to guess 32.
That's right on the money.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guessed that high because you're sitting here accusing me of being 20 years
well,
old.
because you said many years, and that's what kind of did it. But I had to look at you a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get him on this one.
Yeah, it's like if he looks like this by now, he's going to look like this forever. So
yes, you're talking about fake ID. You're still using that fake ID, correct?
Well, yes. It's a new fake ID. It says I was born in 1998. So.
Good move. Good move. I would be one that just says I was born in like 1963. Like, damn.
So tell us a little bit about your beginnings with you said you played with a bluegrass band.
Yeah, I went to Georgia Tech for college, and I I started taking. Well, I started just taking as an engineer. Taking whatever engineering classes, and then kind of was like, I don't know, I've been playing music all my life, but contemplated music school, but never really did it. And it was just kind of like at a point where I was kind of, I was like, yeah, I don't know, I guess it'll be a thing I do, and a hobby or whatnot. But I jumped into a couple of like music technology classes at Georgia Tech, and I had to do a bunch of projects for that. So a few of my friends that I was in a fraternity with, I pulled them in to help me with some of my projects. And I was writing these songs, these bluegrass songs, kind of just on a whim, kind of just randomly. I don't really know why. Like one of my buddies, Colin, who was on the podcast on Sean's Whelan's podcast, he had just gotten a banjo, so we were kind of just experimenting with it and things like that. And there was a violin player we met at the fraternity next door, and so I pulled some of these guys in to work on my like school project. And after I was done, some kind of got passed around to our other friends, and people were really digging the songs and wanted us to kind of play some parties for them. And that kind of spun into playing some more parties. Different fraternities were calling us. We jumped, off campus to some bars, and because of our, our draw from the campus, we were able to like kind of fill whatever place. And that just launched us farther and farther in Atlanta throughout the scene. By the time, like pretty soon, within like a couple of years, we were headlining at the Buckhead Theater, selling like 600 or 700 tickets.
There you go.
And so it was kind of just spiraled into that. And it was, before I knew it, by the time I graduated, it was like, well, this thing is like rolling now. We started playing all these cities, across the Southeast, and had booking agents into us and all this stuff. So we started touring more and more and more. Ended up playing with some huge bands like Mumford & Sons and Zach Brown Band. We did a bunch of Zach Brown Band's festivals. Went on a big tour with Better Than Ezra. Played with like Sister Hazel and Justin Townes Earl. I mean, it was all kinds of act. We were just being thrown on shows all the time. We had this really great booking agent who was also the booking agent for Snarky Puppy, if you know them. They're like a jazz fusion jam band. They're really cool stuff. I have a couple Grammys. And so, yeah, we were just on the road all the time. And it kind of wore on some of the guys. I think when you jump in to touring, it's amazing at first. It's really awesome, because you just get to a new city every night. You party, everyone loves you because they just watch your show, and you're like the cool person in the room. And and it's a lot of fun. But then I think you start getting into it more and more, and you go back to the same cities, and you have to do 5 nights in a row, and you have to drive from St. Louis to Charlotte, North Carolina, or something. It's like 12 hours, and you're away from your home and your girlfriend or wife for however long. And it starts to wear on you. You start to ask yourself, like, why am I really doing this? And so that was kind of the end of that band, was that some of the guys just wanted to do something different with their life. I mean, we were at the point where it was people were making the question, like, is this my life? Is this gonna be my life forever? Or because I had this engineering degree from Georgia Tech, and that's there's this whole other life where I get to stay at home and hang out with my family and make consistent money and things like that. So that was kind of the end of that group, but perhaps a more long-winded answer than you expected, but
oh, totally
great.
I've seen some shit, man. I got stories to tell.
So go ahead. I started to stutter because I was like, I have a couple questions in there. What were you gonna say?
The Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20 closing places down stories was pretty cool last week, or a couple weeks ago too.
What was he doing?
We had a guest that was talking about his touring with Matchbox 20.
Oh, cool.
And he had some stories about Rob Thomas.
Nice.
Which were pretty funny.
So we kind of a lot of famous names, which is awesome. Like I can see that being a tough breaking point between like, hey, we have something really amazing, and hey, this is amazing, but it's not good for me.
Yeah.
So that's a weird kind of position to be in. But what was your favorite band that you toured with or played with that we probably haven't heard of, besides Snarky Puppy?
That you haven't heard of.
Like the general public is like probably unaware of it. Like you're sitting down the bar.
The infamous String Dusters. That's an easy answer. The infamous String Dusters. Best contemporary modern acoustic band that's out there. I mean, there's some other guys like Chris Thiele and
I listened to NPR. I knew Chris
Thiele. Yeah, exactly.
Nickel Creek,
and,
right?
Jerry Douglas and Bella Fleck. These guys are like technically better, but just the cohesion that band has, the songwriting, the vibe, the energy. Just they've got this. Yeah, just the live show is amazing. They're one of the best. I mean, I just keep going back watching their shows over and over and over, and it blows me away every time.
Nice. But also, yeah, Nickel Creek and Bella Flick.
Also great. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like say anything bad about them at all.
I don't know, that reminds me of college. Are we ready to move on to the next beer? Yeah.
I am ready to move on to the next beer.
What?
We are going with the Hemper.
The Hemper.
So from New Belgium Brewing.
There it goes.
They're on either coast.
Oh, they're bi-coastal?
They're not really coastal. They're in the mountains on either side. They're in both mountain ranges.
Mountain
country. They're in the Rockies and they're in the Appalachians. So, or Appalachians, however you want to say it.
Ooh, darker amber, but super clear. Ooh.
This one's got a big nose on it.
Dude, if you're like boiling like your mash, like that, as soon as like you add your malt, it smells like that malt.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
It smells like freshly boiled malt. That makes sense.
I'm such a rookie here, like drinking out of the bottle. I had no idea.
Oh man.
I usually do drink out of the bottle or the can. Well, I haven't
I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't had bottled
These
beer.
things are on sale. I got a bunch of them.
This is awesome. Like you wouldn't think. Like I feel like the hemp flavor, kind of lends itself to an IPA and the hemp and the hops, but this is the hemp and the malt.
Yeah, the malt is definitely heavy on this one. Good call on that with the maltiness. It's almost like
it's Oktoberfesty. Almost.
Yes, or like almost Marzen, yeah, or roasted flavor to it.
That's good. This reminds me of a night.
But
in Amsterdam.
you would not think that by looking at this beer. I mean, yeah, it kind of does have that roasted malt hue to it, but I'm guessing that the hemp has a lot to do with that roasting flavor to it and the color.
And as it says on the bottle, they're 100% employee owned. So
yes, I did know that.
New Belgium is great. Like so, Fat Tire was the beer that made me realize I didn't hate beer. So like, and that's like one of their kind of flagship beers. And I was hanging out actually after a rafting trip. We were just drinking whatever beers were left over from the people who were on the trip. And someone's like, "Hey, Sean, you want a beer?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm just gonna drink a Sprite or whatever." Like, try this one. You like it? Sure. That was fantastic. Like, I taste hazelnuts and like this weird, like warm kind of. I didn't even know what malt tasted like at the time. It was malty and hazelnutty, and it was just crisp and clean, and didn't have that skunky Milwaukee's Best taste because that's the zone I was in.
I just want to know what Milwaukee's Worst is.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It's got to be one. One of them has to be the worst in Milwaukee. There's plenty. How would it be to be Milwaukee's Worst? Of how many beers are brewed in Wisconsin?
Right. I would if I were them, I would take it and run with it. Like,
yeah,
you gotta
say we're actually
like,
from Chicago.
At that point, yeah, you probably have very little going for it as a company.
So I feel like that's PBR's foot race right there. It's like we are the worst and we're okay with it. Hipsters love us.
Yeah.
Don, tell us a little bit about how you're coming along and projects that you're into right now.
Cool. Yeah. So after the band broke up, I started kind of just doing my own thing, doing a solo project, which kind of took to a lot of exploration and, deciding what to do, because I think the band was so much founded around the members and it was so organically built that I couldn't continue it. I didn't want to just do the same thing with different people and try to like force those people into the role of these other things. So I just kind of went like a completely different direction. I made this album called Empty Seas, and it's kind of like a play on words because I started out with this Akai MPC controller. Do you know what that is? it's like a
Sean's like, yes. I'm like,
it's kind of like a keyboard, except it has like just pads on it. It doesn't have like keys, so it's used a lot for like drum programming.
okay,
And,
I think I know
and
what
just sample program, like use of samples that aren't necessarily like pitched out like a keyboard. But you can also do things like a pitched out like a keyboard. So, but it's a lot more percussive. You can just like you hit the pad versus like pressing the key. So I started just like trying to like go as far, not necessarily go as far from bluegrass as I could, but just be in a different world for a moment. So I just started like essentially composing songs completely with the MPC controller. Just to, like put my brain in a completely different world, you know. And then I started kind of really crafting the album and putting, you know, layering real instruments back into it, kind of, and real drums and stuff, which was fine. I never really intended to be like an MPC guy or some kind of DJ or something, but I just wanted to, I don't know, come at it from a different perspective and angle. So then I started pulling these real instruments back in, and it ended up with some really cool songs that are, you know, they ended up being more in this like kind of alternative rock kind of vibe with this funkiness and still a bit of jamminess and some guitar solos and things like that. And I did it with this guy who like mixed it and produced it, co-produced it with me. His name is Billy Hume. Really great engineer, mixer, producer. He's famous for a lot of like early Atlanta rap, Atlanta hip hop that he's a white guy, and he's like in his 50s. I'm not trying to sell him out, but he's got this like long white hair. He looks like Gandalf. Really cool motherfucker. So he grew up doing a lot of rock music and stuff, and he just kind of saw the writing on the wall in Atlanta and where things were going, and took on some projects of the early Yin Yang Twins and Bone Crusher and Little John. He recorded and mixed all that stuff, and he mixed a bunch of Ludacris records and Will Smith, and he mixed The Wobble. You know the song The Wobble?
No.
Yeah,
No.
it's a dance you do at weddings. It's like a line dance now.
Oh yeah.
Party like he probably hates that I claim that I tell people about that, but
Wobble, man.
yeah, it's a funny story because he told me that in a story about like, hey, you never know what song's going to take off, because I just took the fee from the wobble and look what it's become. Anyway, enough about, we don't need to dwell on the wobble.
Wobble. You have to show us that one later.
But I honestly don't remember the dance. Every time people do it, I have to like watch someone and relearn it. But it was really cool to work with, because he had, you know, obviously been, you know, worked on all kinds of great music, but, you know, with a different perspective. And so we made that album MTCs, and then I started, you know, getting a band together around that and touring. And so things have been building slowly. It's kind of weird. I mean, when you restart, like you go out and you tour, and like when I was first with the band, every show we would do, every tour would be like, this is huge. This is our big break, you know, like literally every show you'd think like, and everything was new. Every experience was new. So you're just excited. And so it's a little bit different. You go out the second time and you're trying to rebuild from like, you know, struggling to like get people to the show, and
From knowing what you had.
Yeah. And then being like, man, I know this isn't my big break at all. Like, or I mean, there's no such thing as a big break really, but like, but yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know, you gotta hype yourself up, I guess. So, but I mean, it's been great. I've been putting on some really good shows, touring with some bands. Like, did a big tour last year with Cowboy Mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're really, really great band. Love them. So much energy. They've just got this cult following, and everywhere they go, Fred, the drummer, he sits at the front of the stage and he lead sings and he plays the drums, and like we're at the edge of the stage, and he's got like the crowd under like his complete control. Like they do whatever he says. They scream, they jump. Yeah, it's awesome to watch. So yeah, I toured with them. I did this tour. I actually did a European tour last year, which was really fun. Went to Poland, did like 12 cities in Poland. I forget exactly, but and then the Netherlands, did a few shows there too. And so yeah, it's been great. And now I'm working on a whole new set of songs, a new album. I wouldn't call it new direction, but it's an expansion. It's just kind of taking the good things that I discovered on MTCs and yeah, just making them better.
Nice. That sounds really nice. Like overall, like going from, actually, I don't know if I'd call it heights or you would call it heights, but success to sounds like a healthy place, especially in current times. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you learn is that like there's always going to be ups and downs, you know, like it's like, and if you just go for that like one up and that one high and then like that's it, then like that's just not reality. Like I mean, probably other people's careers are like this too, that are not just like one steady stream. I mean, like you have your moments, and I like for instance, like I've had shows where like we were a great show, like sold out show in like some city, and we played this club, and you know, not a huge club or anything, but like you play this thing and everyone's like cheering for you and loving it, and then after the show you break down and like you go to the bar next door and like suddenly you're in a different world, and like no one knows, you're not like that cool person on stage anymore, you're just like another person in the bar, and like I don't know, I mean that's just like a metaphor for like how everything is in music. Like you go up, you have a good song, you have some people who are into it, and then the next day you don't, and you just got to keep working. Like what are you going to do? Like you just got to keep working. So
the next day you're doing the wiggle. You're like, all right.
Yeah, so you're doing the
wobble.
wobble, sorry.
That's funny that you say that, because I remember going up and to see one of my trips up north, and I went and I was to see this one band, and like they were like cool enough to come have lunch with me, right? And so we're in the place, like you said, where no one really knows them or whatever. And the funny thing is, like, somebody who did know them comes up and he's like, hey man, you know, great, whatever, you know, and he's like, and you know, it's just the four of us at the table, and you know, he's like, all right, great, thanks, you know, thanks for coming to the show, or, you know, and the guy walks away and he looks at all of us, he goes, was I an asshole there? And I was like, or was he?
One of us was an asshole there, but I have no idea who it was.
But it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know, have you ever had that issue where you're like, you know, kind of on your own away from things, and then you're, you know, had that like fans come up or someone come up and, you know, you're like, hey, yes, I saw this, or I came here to see you, or whatever, and you're like,
yeah, I mean,
talking to this person, or I'm, you know.
Yeah, not in a totally crazy way or anything. Like, obviously, I've never achieved that level of fame where I'm just like flooded by crazy people or anything. But there is a sense of like you want to be that person that everyone like wants you to be for them, like because they admire what you do, and like you're happy that they admire you, and you want to like give them back something, and so. But yeah, there's points where like you have to like draw a line, because I just can't be like your personal like whatever you think I am for you all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I have to I don't know. It's weird, because yeah, as much as you like want that and you hope for that as in your career to have these people do this, you still have to like step away and be like, I just can't. Yeah, I can't follow you around and be your like friendly famous musician for you, you know.
Like you're having your bad Santa Billy Bob Thornton moment, like, I'm on my fucking lunch break. Like dripping out of your mouth.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's a good analogy. That's really good.
With that, we can go to the next one, the seltzer.
Right.
The Hemp Tails. So this is a passion fruit express is what it's called. So it's brewed with hemp seeds and natural hemp, and then it's got the passion fruit flavors out of it as well. So
Ooh.
those are like the hot new thing right now.
What are the harder thing?
Seltzers.
Oh, seltzers, yes.
Yes.
Claw is the law. Yes.
Yes.
So to speak.
Natty Light's got theirs. Bud Light's got theirs.
I mean,
this has got some color to it, not clear.
no, it's got, it kind of looks, it looks like a cider. You say, hey,
Yeah, it does.
You said, it'd be like, that kind of looks like what that is. It's got that faint kind of hay yellow color, super clear.
You know what? This is very good. This is very good.
It is?
Yeah? I
haven't tried it yet. I can smell the passion fruit on it, but it almost smells like a cooked or a baked passion fruit, or like
it smells
like gum.
It's definitely.
It smells like purple Dynatap.
It's definitely one of my favorite.
It's got sweetness
seltzers
to it as well.
It's definitely one of my favorite seltzers that I have. It's got more of a just got more to it, you know, more depth, more flavor. Like you
don't taste the hemp at all in this.
I think the seeds just kind of give it like a kind of like a
it's on the back end.
Yeah,
it's like way on the back.
It's not even dank. It's just a Yes, it really is like a rounded mouthfeel flavor to it.
Yeah, almost like a creamy you would get from a nut or a seed.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, a mouthfeel, like a nut. Yeah, not that kind of nut.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
Right. Family show, Sean. Family show.
Really? There's a bar in front of me.
If you want your kids to be responsible drinkers, you gotta get them started early.
My 4-year-old probably watching right now too.
I do have regulars that.
What does he mean?
That bring their kids to my bar. I have, especially like Sunday brunch. I have regulars come in with their kids and sit at the bar and like, you mind if I like? Nah, go ahead. That's fine. Do you want a little sangria, a little mimosa? All right, let's do it up. Uncle Sean's gonna
binge on the series.
And I mean this in a negative way. I would still say the prevalent flavor for me is grape Diamond Tap. Like, no, drink the shit out of it.
The purple.
Because I was sick a lot as a kid. Well, I had something like 25 ear infections. So this is.
It's funny how the Passion Fruit Express, they say, they make it very much a point. This is real hemp seeds. This is plus natural hemp. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of at the bottom next line hide a little bit of
passion fruit flavors.
Passion fruit flavors. Yeah.
They don't brew it with the real fruit. They brew it with the real hemp, but not with the real fruit.
Right.
Real fruit's expensive, man.
Yes. Especially up in New York. I ship it all the way. Like we had this rum the other day. Like I got this coconut rum the other day when Sean had one of his cocktails. And I'm like looking at this like coconut rum, Largo Bay, and I'm like, oh, where's this made? It's made in fucking Minnesota. This is coconut rum, and it's like I'm reading the label on the back, and I'm like, bottled in Princeton, Minnesota, produced and bottled in Princeton, Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, fucking Minnesota makes coconut rum.
So there's been a lot of U.S. makers starting to make rum. There's at least a couple in Louisiana. I know there's one here in Georgia. And it's been a thing because it's importing. There's some weird tariff on sugar-based products that come into the U.S. Yeah. So there have been a lot more people in the U.S. being like, all right, we'll make it here because it's the only thing we can get at a reasonable or whatever fair market prices, like Bacardi.
Yeah.
And Cruisin', I don't know if Cruisin' rum is actually still made.
Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
I did a tour in the Virgin Islands, and there's this island called St. Croix, where a Cruisin' rum's made, where we did a bunch of shows. This is with my old band, and they have. And it's so cheap down there; it's ridiculous. I remember the funniest thing was we got off the plane, we got our van, we were like going to like where we were staying, and we had to all stop by the grocery store to like just get some essentials, whatever we need. And we all like split up to grab what we needed, but we all independently discovered the Cruisin' rum handles were like $7. And so we all bought one.
The handles.
Yeah, exactly. And so we all come out of the van. We all have this like handle of rum, and we're like, There's no way we can drink all this. This is ridiculous. It was like so cheap. But they have this drink down there with the Cruisian rum, because they have all these like different flavors of the Cruisian rum, and they call it the Cruisian Confusion. And it's basically what they do is they whatever flavors the bar you're at has, they just pour all of them into a glass, and that's it. Sometimes there's a splash of juice, I think, like pineapple juice or something too. But that's it. The Cruisian Confusion.
That's like the adult version of going for every soft drink in a machine and just putting some in your cup.
When it tastes kind of funny, let's add a little juice to it. It'll be all right. So, Shawn, you're going to sing a song for us here. Tell us a little bit about the song that you have for us, the first one anyway.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to do a song called Barcelona. It's a relatively new song that I wrote, and it's kind of a tale of a study abroad. I never went on a study abroad in college. Did y'all go on a study abroad? No?
Your mom goes to college.
Well, okay, so here's what I experienced. Here's what I experienced when I was in college is that like everyone would go on their study abroad to Barcelona or something, and they would come back, like 2.5 months later and act like they had some kind of religious experience there, like they really like changed their life. They'd come back and call it Barcelona, and and everything you said, they'd be like, well, in Barcelona, the way we did it was, and it's like, and then they would have, the other thing is like, they'd have their like study abroad group that they'd have to have like their reunions with that like no one else was invited to, as if like you can't like intermix these humans into other friend groups. Anyway, it was kind of crazy to me. And so I'm really just jealous that I didn't get that experience. But I wrote this song kind of poking fun at that. And it's called Barcelona. Hold on, let me take a sip here and get my.
There you go. Taste the tasty beverage to wash it down.
Yeah. In Barcelona, the hemp drinks are off the charts. No, I'm just kidding. I've never been to Barcelona, so.
Hey.
It was one of those nights in Barcelona, the kind that just don't seem to end, and you're not sure what you remember, but you sure as hell can't forget. One of those nights in Barcelona, the kind that might not come again, and you're not sure what you remember, but you sure as hell can't forget. One of those nights in Barcelona. Your school sent you on a scholarship to take a class that you don't need, and saw you starting discotecas and found out how much you could drink. It was a spiritual experience. They found us lost out in a field, and just like that time that you found Buddha, except for this one felt so real. One of those nights in Barcelona, one of those nights in Barcelona. Did you know you were destined to be different? The vagabond across the sea, to find out for yourself what life is. I wonder if you knew that you'd meet me. Short breath, hair's a mess, a night that you're still dreaming of. And I am nothing short of certain it was love. It's one of those nights in New York City, just like we've done a million times. Oh, but now you can't remember the way two souls can seem to rhyme. Because of that night in Barcelona, the kind that might not come again. And you're not sure what you remember, but you sure as hell can't forget one of those nights in Barcelona. One of those nights in Barcelona. Did you know you were destined to be different? A vagabond across the sea. Find out for yourself what life is. I wonder if you knew that you'd be me. And short breath, hair's a mess, an idea you're still dreaming of. And now you're nothing short of certain it was love.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Like super talented. I'm ready for the next song already.
All right.
That was really
I've
great.
got 2 cocktails for us. So first,
We're doing cocktails already?
oh,
All
we're
right.
doing.
All ready, Freddie?
Yeah.
I'm only half done with my my hemp tail.
I'm not even halfway done with my hemp tail, so pacing, my friend, pacing.
Yes, pacing and
Ian, I already forgot. Did I say we're going to start with the Boulevardier tonight? Yeah, whatever. We're going to start
Let
with
me check
Boulevardier.
real quick here. I said it does say Boulevardier.
He doesn't remember.
You know what?
I'm gonna
Let's
put
do
this
it.
down
Do
to
the Boulevardier.
So Boulevardier. So last week we did bourbon cocktails, and so I thought this week we'd kind of lead in with a bourbon-based cocktail. As I was kind of thinking about it, a lot of cocktails differ in name and presentation, but really only by one ingredient, and sometimes just the ratio of a single ingredient to the rest of the cocktail. So, and this is one classic example as I turn off my camera instead of switching it to the overhead mode. There we go. So
We all love this one.
I'm a fan of this one. I like the Boulevard.
I like this one too. It's like Julia Child.
Yes, just add more butter. I watched so much Julia Child when I was in grad school. I cannot even. That woman taught me how to make omelets, essentially. So I watched a whole episode on that. But that's digressing from the point of the Boulevardier. So the Boulevardier did come after a Negroni, which was the original cocktail, which we'll make in a minute. Supposedly it came from Henry's Bar, based in Paris, and was made for, I forget the gentleman's name, but for basically an heir to the, or not an heir, a relative of, oh no, not Carnegie, there's a railroad tycoon, Vanderbilt.
Yes.
So it was that expat going to his bar all the time that loved this cocktail. So traditionally, the equal components of Campari, sweet vermouth, and bourbon. I'm going to do just slightly under, so just under an ounce of Campari. Which, Campari.
Have you ever drank Campari by itself?
I have. I like to taste all my ingredients raw, which is actually why I picked this vermouth, which it's actually so glistening wet that it's hard to pick up in the light of the camera there. But it's Trincherry vermouth, actually out of California. He's going with Gallo. So there's a couple things about vermouth. A lot of the ones that we get here in the U.S. are not exactly what you would drink in Europe if someone's drinking a vermouth. Out there, they're supposed to be at least palatable and acceptable. They are still very herbaceous. They're still very potent. A lot of strong floral flavors as well. But if you've ever had like just drinking Gallo straight or Ernest and Julio or a Martini and Rossi, they're really hard to drink by themselves. I find them incredibly difficult even now after drinking a lot of different vermouths. This is quite nice. I say it's, again, gin cherry. Also, refrigerate your vermouth. If you don't refrigerate it, it will go bad. It is wine-based. So you have to refrigerate your vermouth. If you don't, I mean, it will go bad within a couple weeks, and you'll get something that tastes even worse.
I had no idea.
So I've already done equal parts. There's a trend now that you want to add a little bit extra of your base spirit to your vermouth or your boulevardier, or your boulevardier or your negroni. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to add about 1.25 ounces of my bourbon to my cocktail.
You're spiking it up with a little bit of bourbon, a little bit more bourbon.
Right. Because if you're using something like a fancier bourbon, or you're using a rye instead, especially maybe a barrel finished rye, something that has like a really interesting taste.
You could have told
me
to use rye.
No, sir. So I like to build in the glass, give it a little stir. So a couple of you playing the home game, I actually just bottled the cocktail for you. So Sean, you just pour over the rocks and just go for it that way. Since this is a bourbon cocktail, I am actually going to give myself just a little twist. Oop. And actually screwed up my little twist by making it too little. No.
Is this the one that can burn?
I mean, you could burn it. Normally, you would just put like a little orange twist on the top. I'm just going to express it over the top. Rub the rim there. There we go. Just love a little rim rub. I do, certainly.
My dogs like express.
Right. And cheers, gentlemen.
Nice.
That
cheers.
is your boulevadier. I'm going to come back on front camera for a second.
Oh damn!
Enjoy that with
this
you.
This is fucking good. This is my drink right here.
Yeah.
Where's it been
That's
in my
great.
life?
Like, you get a little sweetness.
Yeah.
Actually, from the bourbon, if you have the orange on there, that kind of hits you in the nose.
The orange, the orange helps.
And the great part about this is, again, like when you have a good vermouth, like there's a slight syrupiness to it, and that takes you into the Campari. So then you get that bitter note on the end, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't hurt you. It's going to be okay, but it's delicious. Yeah, that's a good day right there. I'm going to switch back into gallery view because I can only see Ian drinking this cocktail, and as much as I like you drinking your cocktail, Ian, I'd like to see the rest of the show.
What if I'm drinking the cocktail without my shirt on?
Well, let me twist my mustache. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
See. All right, so that was the Boulevardier. Now we're going to make its predecessor, the Negroni, which really there's not good historical documentation on either. The earliest written document for the Negroni is about 1911, if I remember correctly. So there's like a 20-year gap essentially between the two. But it is one of the first recorded classic cocktails, coming about around 1911, and it's gin-based. So if you want to throw a couple more rocks into a rock slice, we'll do that.
You mentioned earlier you went to graduate school. Was this what your graduate school work was in?
Yes.
My graduate school. I mean, sort of. I was doing this while I was in graduate school, for sure.
If the research you're citing was your own research, because that would be pretty cool.
I actually discovered I really enjoy research. I love looking things up.
I got you.
And that's just part because I did like one of those 120 research reports for my graduate thesis. And I don't know, I have an MS in video game development and production management. And really what I did the entire time, besides researching production management methods, was do audio for video games.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is why I have so much audio stuff. I have a Zoom H6 just hooked up to my laptop right now so I can run a couple of mics and cameras and things. So, sure.
Yeah, Sean fancies me on the audio.
Well, so I went to Sean's house to record, and I think I had an iPhone hooked up to a 4-port USB input device. Like, really? It can be done.
I mean, yeah, I could nerd out about audio gear all day, but I don't know if the Beery Traveler audience would be so
Post show, my friend. Post
Enthused.
show.
We're waiting for this next cocktail. Actually, we're waiting
doing-
for Beery Traveler.
We're doing the next cocktail. All right. Negroni. And again, there's lots of stories around the Negroni, but essentially, it is still, and we're going to do just under equal parts sweet vermouth.
Is there any special order we should do these in, Sean?
No, because we're going to stir it. It's really just that you build it in the glass that you're going to serve it in. But thank you for asking. That is an excellent question, Ian. You get an A for the class.
All right. My first A.
All right. An A for alcoholic. Yes. All right. And then we're going to do our gin. Now, again, like what I mentioned with the bourbons, your gin can greatly vary what this drink comes out as. You can use, I like to use a London Dry, which is what we're going to use today. But if you
What are you using today? What are you using?
It's a London Dry gin. It's Greenall. It's kind of one of those serviceable at-home gins. You know,
I'm doing an American dry gin.
Blue Coat, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
I didn't even look at the screen. So Blue Coat out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's a little bit more on the floral side, but also kind of sweet. I like Blue Coat. I actually just bought. They produced a elderflower infused gin,
Ooh.
and because I actually tend to use that a lot in a champagne cocktail. So I'll use like a Saint Germain and a gin. So they kind of combine that. It's not as heavy on the floral, but anyway, I digress. I like Blue Coat. They're a nice gin, but a little bit sweeter, more floral than a dry. That will change the cocktail. So give it a nice stir there. And this I'm actually going to use a wedge with, partly because the other one as you remember, I kind of expressed it over the glass and just did those espers over the top. For better or worse logic, I love gin and juice. And so if you want a little orange juice in with your gin cocktail, I'm going to use like a full-on like Half Moon right there. I think that would be the proper way to enjoy it. And then you can kind of play through cocktail in afterwards. And I think
Also rolling down the street smoking some Indo.
Smoking Indo
Would be the proper way.
Drink
it fits with the motif.
Nights.
So, cheers, everyone.
Cheers. How do you get around the orange sometimes with these?
Oh wow, that's also excellent.
Oh man! Again, get good vermouth. Get good vermouth, kids. You learn anything from the show.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's good. All right, and now I'm going to squeeze a little juice into my cocktail.
Do a little juice squeezing.
Right.
I didn't get the juice.
Wheezing the juice.
I made fun of one of our bartenders at one point because they cut their slices so thick, like for an old fashioned. And I was like, look, like when you muddle it, you're just going to get orange juice and whiskey, which is a different drink versus an old fashioned one. So don't give me giant fat juicy slices. I just want enough. But in this case, this is at your discretion. I like that. Somehow it makes it spicier when you add a little squeeze of orange in there.
And it mellows out the alcohol a little bit. It doesn't make it so hot.
All right. I'm ready for some.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sean. That was fantastic.
Bitter, baby. You're welcome,
All right,
Sean.
so Sean, the Sean Spencer, even though Sean spelled a different way, there should be a way that we can say both your names in a different way. And
you just like if you don't say the W, then I know.
Okay.
You're talking about him. Just
right.
enunciate that W a little bit, you know.
Sean.
Well, I was just saying, my family from Jersey calls me Sean.
Sean.
Okay. Yeah, Sean.
Like, get off my lawn.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sean, you got another song for us tonight, right?
I do. I want to play a song called Take Me Away. It's kind of like off the path of what I've been doing a lot lately with the songs that I've been putting out. And I haven't like recorded this and put it out yet, but I did like a quarantine collaboration video with some folks, some friends of mine that I've been playing with a lot, including drummer Ryan Moore, who's like my professor at Tech's son, Rhett Huffman, who plays with a band called American Aquarium, and Troy Harris, who was in my old band, playing bass with Seven Hound Circus. And so it's kind of a weird song that I wrote but I don't know. I've been playing it a lot. I've been playing a lot of shows. I've got this new philosophy that I've adopted, that I've decided that like songs that I just love playing are kind of more important than songs that are like going to be like the good fit for the brand that's going to like go out and do the good advertising work. Because at the end of the day, if I love playing it and it's fun and it feels good and it's powerful and the band loves playing it, it's going to do more work than it's going to have a bigger impact, I think. I don't know. This is just a theory. It's not been proven. But I just love playing this song. It's a lot of fun, and it's called Take Me Away. Let me sorry, I gotta tune my guitar real quick. It's been I should have done this while I was making my dramatic speech about the thing. Yesterday we hung your grandma's picture frames and covered her last plain white wall. Now the list of things that they expected me grind on. You talk about your little sister's wedding day with a gleam of bitterness in your stare. But do they even love each other anyway? Do you care? Oh, won't you take me away? Take me away, or I might never leave the shadows of your family name. Take me away, take me away. Come tomorrow, I might only have myself to blame if I stay. Won't you take me away? Remember when we all went to the steeplechase? Your father had a good tip from a friend, and you told me that I could not bet against him, but I did. I did. Won't you take me away? Take me away, or I might never leave the shadows of your family name. Take me away, take me away, and come tomorrow I might only have myself to blame if I stay. Won't you take me away? 'Cause if I up and left for Argentina, would you be right with me by my side? Could you be someone you thought you'd never be? Would you try? Won't you take me away? Take me away, or I might never leave the shadows of your family name. Take me away, take me away. Come tomorrow, I might only have myself to blame if I stay. Won't you take me away?
That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes. So, Sean, do you have any? Where can we find you at? Spotify.
Yes, Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming services. SeanSpencerMusic.com. You can find the links to everything. If you just do Instagram, Sean Spencer Music, Facebook.com/Sean Spencer Music. So and that's
Sean Spencer.
right. Can they see my name written? It's SHAWN. Make sure you get that W.
Did you fuck that up, Sean? Yeah, scene.
I spelled it correctly. I saw it on there, and I misspelled it so many times in the past that I remember.
You've been spelling it wrong for years.
Well, yeah, because I spelled the right way. Duh. The feud goes on. So you can also find the Beery Traveler at _Beery_Traveler on Instagram, the Beery Traveler on Facebook. Do we do other stuff? Probably not, but you can. We'll find other ways that you can find us. But those two main ones. We also have thebeerytraveler.beer, where you can find our website. We always post. Besides on YouTube,
how'd you do that?
We have because we. And also you can email beer at thebeerytraveler.beer if you want to contact
get all
us.
of it.
You can be on the show. You can send us questions. You can do whatever you want. If you're a brewer, we'd love to have you on as well. And there was one other thing. We post full episodes. We do a little pre-roll before we post the show. Before we record the show, we're going to have a little bit after the show where we're just talking and jamming. You can find that on YouTube. Also, the Beery Traveler. Look for our TBT logo. And that will also be linked on our website, thebeerytraveler.beer. And you can find me at MaileADC if you want to talk to me. I'll be on all the social medias doing cocktail stuff. Ian?
Yes. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. All right. Yay. We like to have a good time. We like to look for good times and great beers. So, hey, that includes breweries, musicians, distilleries, wineries. I found a bunch of them yesterday. You'll see more posts on the website all week long about cocktails, beers, musicians, whatever. The Hemperor messages, I'm going to put those up, the YouTube videos from the Hemperor. They're hilarious. But hey, next time, come see us again, 10 o'clock on Fridays. I'm the Beery Traveler, Sean and Shawn. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
We are off.
All right.
Oh my God, it's still live.
Now I gotta ask, what is the Beery Traveler's policy on bathroom breaks?
We're going right now.
Everyone take 5.
Now is bathroom break time. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm going.
I love it.
I just realized why my loop didn't really work on the last song, because I had pulled out my my 1/4 inch to set my guitar down, and it was sitting in my pocket, and I never plugged it back in.
Oh shit!
So there was some coming through from the mic.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
But
and it, yeah. but it was weird. I was like, why is this so quiet? And I was like, I can't really fix it. I can't figure out how to fix this right now because I'm in the middle of playing. But it just dawned on me.
At least you know what it is now.
That's what 5 drinks in 45 minutes will do.
It's a marathon. It's not even a marathon. It's a weird drunken sprint.
It's cool. I played it off.
It's good.
There you go.
Solid gold. All right,
All right.
we'll see.
I will admit that I only did the seltzer, which I enjoyed, actually. I was very surprised.
It was pretty good. Like, and I hope it doesn't come off negative. It does taste like Tap grape, purple. But I like it. Like, I kept drinking it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I drank all of it. I did not open my other beers. I'm going to have to, the idea of doing those 3, it didn't seem like it was going to sit well with me. So figured I'd drink one now, one tomorrow, one the next day.
Yes. Zombie for the butter.
So is that the microphone that's doing that with your voice? Literally, you sound like 3 octaves lower. I was like, whoa.
So I can't hear it on mine. As far as I know, I only have one mic enabled, and it's the shotgun mic to your heart.
I mean, it sounds different than when it first started. I mean, you'll have to go back and watch the video because I was like, wow, your vocal cords are down around your knees.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what happened then. That's concocted. Great.
All right.
So, yeah, I can do it. I'll try.
This cocktail is fucking awesome, by the way. Both of them
Yes.
were. I gotta say I like the bourbon one better, but only
That's my
because
go-to.
I'm partial to bourbon. But
I heard. Same. I like bourbon, but
yeah,
that's kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot of cocktails where, as soon as they're made with like, oh yeah, you got to use tequila, you got to use vodka.
right.
Then someone comes and goes, what if you use bourbon?
Yeah.
Or whatever their favorite spirit is, and you're like, let's give it a shot. And
Yeah.
you can almost always make it good. And I obviously this is recorded, but post roll after show, I put the challenge out there. Like, you can make any good cocktail with bourbon. There's a child. Child.
Oh, there's a child coming.
Hey, George.
What's up, George? This is George. He's been going to concerts longer than I
Are you
have.
going to say hello?
Hello.
George, what's your favorite song?
Dark sunglasses.
What is it?
Dark sunglasses.
Dark Sunglasses from.
There's a song from a band called Ballyhoo called Dark Sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically, the song is about, I've got a hangover and I'm going to wear these dark sunglasses until it's gone.
All right.
John, did you also think ZZ Top? Because that's what
I
I
was thinking,
thought.
yeah, it's my first go-to was like Cheap Sunglasses by ZZ Top.
Oh, sorry, cheap sunglasses. Yeah.
He has some oranges.
He saw the orange and that immediately drew all his attention.
Excuse me. It is after 11 o'clock.
So now, yeah, we're officially bad parents here.
Oh, we've been.
I put my child to bed before this. Yes.
You know what? At least I didn't give him this orange.
In this day and age, it's hard to be a bad parent. You know, like you try and you try, but
He's good at it.
too many people forgive you. Too many people forgive you for the bad parenting.
For the hemp tails.
Is this
Do
the
you think there's a lot of forgiveness for bad parenting? I feel like there's a lot of. Like,
Unless you're a mom, then you get judged ridiculously hard.
I distinctly remember sitting in the car for half an hour while mom was in the grocery store.
No,
You know,
I'm totally being sarcastic. It's the opposite, really.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You ready to go back upstairs?
Message received.
All right. Say goodnight to everybody.
Night, George.
Hi, George.
Night, George.
Do you want to sing the Dark Sunglasses real quick for everybody?
No.
That was great. That was such good side eye. That was excellent.
Oh, he's good at the side eye.
That was so good.
He's got daddy's eye. All right, go away.
All right, good night. Hug.
Where's Ty?
Ty, you're not joining us?
I'm here.
Oh,
There
now
he
we
is.
can
There
see
he is.
There we go.
It's tie time.
Sean, I will say this.
him. Which
Extremely talented. All right,
Thank
Sean.
Thank you.
Sean.
Let's call him
Aw.
Scene. It's okay.
Scene and
Scene.
Sean.
Okay,
Sean.
Spinning.
Yeah,
All right, well, I'm a
Spence
spinner.
was all right. Spence,
Oh.
people
Isn't
used
it
to call me-
Already getting in
Deanne?
trouble.
Spence was always my
Yeah,
a nickname on sports teams and stuff in high school.
Spencer. So we call you. We'll call you Spencer.
Spencer or Spence. Yeah.
Spence.
All right.
All right. Hey, extremely talented. With you can tell that you're a smart guy, and you just pick this up, and you can, you can naturally play music. Like I can just see that in you immediately.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
How
I,
long have you been playing music?
Like 20 years probably now at this point.
Did I
Well,
miss
I mean,
how old you actually are?
I'm 19.
I guessed it. 32. You've got a fake ID.
I
Yeah.
knew you weren't 19.
So if you count the time that I was in womb, playing the, right, I started singing.
Percussion.
Well,
as soon as
actually,
the
the
vocal
Japanese do
cords
count
actually,
that year.
yeah, the vocal cords actually develop in trimester 2. So.
That would be extremely weird to have your baby singing in utero. It's weird enough seeing them move when they're in there.
Yeah. But no, I started playing like piano when I was about 8 years old. So now I'm 32. So I don't math's hard after 5 drinks.
I don't math in my head either. It's
Yeah.
fine.
No, so that would be
24.
24 years, yeah.
I knew I wouldn't like it. Why do you make me drink stuff? You know I'm not gonna like it. Oh.
But I don't know. Like
Sean,
I
that
don't know
was
if
your
you can-
creation that she just cringed on there. Or still cringing on.
He knows my taste. He knows I like stuff that's not bitter.
I think it's gone bad.
It's a very Italian thing. All this stuff which is bitter is very Italian. And I know you went Boulevardier Negroni, but I actually drank the Negroni first, and now I'm drinking the Boulevardier because
I'm kind of doing the same thing. Here.
So throw it out there. Again, use good vermouth.
I actually finished them both already because I thought that was I was trying to stay in the spirit of the show.
Hey, why not?
Oh
God,
yeah,
I'm getting there.
if you
Well,
got
now
more,
I'm like running out. The only thing
Drink
I've
it.
left is the hemp tail.
wow. I think you're ahead of all of us, by the way.
Are you fucking
like
kidding?
it
I
too.
thought that I was trying to.
Daddy, what time?
Y'all, you guys are all cheating.
Well, no, I mean,
Eat
we're
it.
just tasting these things and talking about them.
I'm not giving you more time.
You don't have to drink them all.
I just
This
said
is-
no.
I specifically asked this question.
I thought I said
No,
you didn't
I'm just
have
playing.
to.
I'm just playing.
yeah,
No, I realize.
I think we'll have to put that in our sheet to the musicians to make sure that they realize they don't have to drink the whole drink.
Can if you want
or
to.
any of it for that matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
We like to see a taste in there, but
No, I mean, like, okay, so for me, like, tasting is, I love tasting, but I used to do a lot of, like, I used to go to breweries and only do the beer flight, and, like, go to all these breweries and do the beer flights, and, you know, you go to wineries, you do the tasting. What I realized is, like, you don't really get to know a drink or really experience it unless you just have the whole thing. You got to
And you
get
know what?
to the end
I
of
find it's interesting. I like the flights or the tastings of things because I think within and like what we're doing tonight, the contrast between each of them gives you a greater understanding of what each is.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
because you compare, contrast with all the different beers, and I feel like you've got a greater comprehension of where it fits in the whole fold of everything.
True. I agree, and I think there's a happy medium. I think maybe because like we did have all the full drinks, and we can drink them all. But we only had 5.
What do you mean we can't drink them all?
We can't. Well, no. Okay, so I just mean like there's a full drink, to drink, like to experience the entirety of it versus just one sip, just getting one sip. So
sure,
we're kind of in this medium world. But like I liken it to like the Pepsi challenge, right? You remember the Pepsi challenge, right? When like they went around in the early '90s or late '80s, and
I think it was the '80s.
Yeah. I don't remember it when it was happening. I just
Yeah. Whatever. Keep going.
Yeah. So
I'm too young for that.
We got it.
So the Pepsi challenge, they would do this research and they would show it on camera and they would make these commercials about it. They said like if you give people Pepsi and Coke and they take a sip of it, people prefer Pepsi. And this was like multiple people, like multiple different groups, like also did the study and proved that the Pepsi actually wins. And the Pepsi challenge was correct. The data they were showing was not a lie. They did this. But
we should do that with Miller Lite and Bud Light.
At the end of the day, after they publicized all this data and spent millions and millions of dollars sharing this data, why didn't people start drinking Pepsi and not Coke? It's because because they only gave people one sip. And if you drink one sip of Pepsi, you maybe prefer it. But if you drink the whole Pepsi versus the whole Coke, they didn't test that. People still prefer the whole Coke.
There you go.
Yes.
Coke.
You know what?
He's got to keep coming back for more with the Coke.
See, I would like a Dr. Pepper.
It's so good. I just got to keep coming back.
I mean, there's other arguments to say that, well, it was the brand of Coke that was well established, and that was like, it didn't matter what it tasted like, and you can argue that too. But at the same time, I don't know. I think enjoying the whole beverage, getting to the bottom of it, means a lot. Rather than
that's cool of you to say that because not a lot of people think that. I would have never even thought about that as well. Like, drink the whole thing and see what you think about it after that. You know.
Well, it's like how many beers can you actually drink of certain types of beer?
True.
Yeah.
True.
You know,
like these emperors, I can't see drinking more than 2 or 3 in a setting at all. Even the biggest guy.
Yeah, I mean the stoutiest
for me,
stouts and the hoppiest.
I'm a
hops.
Guinness person. I'm a Guinness. Yeah. And I know I can drink 3 max. Yeah. Because if I go into that, it may not be the 4th one, but it could be the 4th one.
Yeah.
But if it's not the 4th one, it'll be the 5th one. Definitely in there where it just kind of hits you right between the eyes, and you're like, "Oh, I should have stopped."
Yeah.
I really like the Coke analogy because my bottle opener that I have it here is from the Coca-Cola.
And then you're wearing the Guinness
History Museum.
You can't.
Nice.
You have the Guinness hat. Well played. I thought I was good with the Coke bottle opener.
Wow. All right, we're gonna have to talk about that. I'm gonna need one of those.
You can have it.
Thank you.
You know, Ty, I've got some stouts here for you that we're gonna try when you come over next week.
He's coming.
All right.
Yes, we're doing the show from here, everybody, next week.
We
It's
are?
gonna be live again.
Sort of.
Yes, we're live every week.
I mean, I don't mean live, but I mean like
in person.
In person, right?
person.
That's the term I was looking for.
We're gonna give each other diseases.
Yeah, nice.
In person.
Oh, awesome. So I only
0.5%.
What?
What is it? Holy cow!
14.5%. Isa, that's a.
I've got stuff for you.
Wow.
Got stuff for you, Ty.
That's a beer, man.
Am I driving home or am I staying there?
And this was the little brother, I guess.
My little friend.
This one's only
Say
5.4.
hello to my little friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Mexican coffee stout. Nice. I do like those.
Wow.
Yeah, we do have an air mattress that we can
Yeah, we
set
can
up
set-
if
we
you
can
guys
set it
need to
up.
crash.
couch, floor, all it's good. It's fine.
There.
Wait, next week is Will, right?
Yes.
Sweet.
I listened to some of that stuff tonight. That very Seattle band.
Yeah.
Ardana, is that how it's pronounced?
Adarna.
Ardana.
Adarna.
Yeah, slow it down. It's like when you try to say Emma it's
Ardana.
So, Sean, pretty much the way we've done musicians so far is between the three of us, we know a fair amount of music people because musicians and bartenders.
Right.
It just kind of happens. So we just invite people on that we like.
Right.
Really is kind of how it's gone.
I got you.
And I mean, I know you from Canoe when you performed, and I know you from when we did the Wasted Knowledge, and then oh shit, Sean.
Yeah.
So Will I know from Con, like literally, like there's an Allentown Comic Con in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We met at 5 years ago, maybe even 6 now, and he's gone through a couple different bands in Seattle. And he still tours. He tours half the year, and the other half of the year he teaches music in Seattle,
cool.
and works on music. And it's just Basically, I emailed him like, dude, do you want to come on? Yeah, I'm not doing anything else. I'm like a lot of musicians right now.
Now is he remoting in from Seattle, or is he coming?
So Sean, you may
remote
not know this, but I was emailing with him today. We're getting the whole band next week.
Oh, nice.
Nice. We're getting Murdoch and the crew.
We're getting the whole. So I added like an extra beer in those cocktails. Like I added one more of each of everything going up to them. And so next week next week we're doing Lycian right back here.
That's funny. That's funny. Fuck.
Sorry for pushing you out of my way.
So their drummer's name is Murdoch, and
this was the beer we have for next week.
Nice.
Elysian. So it's a
Oh, wow.
Seattle beer. It's
Super
a Seattle-based beer.
Oh my gosh, this is like the Super Fuzz, what that is, right? It's like a
yes.
it's a pedal. It's
Yep.
a guitar pedal.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we had
I've got one in the other room.
Yeah.
You have the pedal?
So
Go get it. Go get it. You
blood
gotta put these side by
orange.
side on camera.
It's the blood orange ale.
Oh, nice.
So I decided that I went with the blood orange theme. So I went with the billet again. We're gonna go Ironmonger next week again.
Mm.
We'll see. We'll give them that one. But and then we're gonna go blood.
Nice. Okay. Of course.
Blood orange IPA.
Right.
So we'll go with the Seattle stuff versus the local stuff.
So should we do a blood orange martini? Stirrings makes a really lovely blood orange lime mix.
Well, Sean's already got the cocktails made, and I sent them out to him. So
okay.
we're doing like the
All right.
Vesper.
I heard. Go on. I didn't find the pedal. I just heard Ty say use stirrings. No, sir. No. We can use a stirrings premix. Well, why don't we just pierce my nipples on the show? No.
Yeah.
We could arrange
All
that.
right.
Very,
Prince Albert for
No.
Sean on the show.
No,
oh
we won't
wow.
do that.
Okay, this is a whole different show now.
We're talking about
You
we
wouldn't
talk
be able
about
to
the
put that on YouTube.
we talk about Terry going circumcised earlier.
Too much. Too much.
I think Sean had the perfect segue. Maybe we
I
should
think
hear something else.
Another song.
Sean, yes. You didn't hear about that one earlier.
What?
Now that we're nice and drunk, we need some beery traveler theme song.
This guy we know got circumcised for a girl.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
No, we don't, which is why I was trying to...
You know what, Sean, Spencer, please, let's go for another song.
Oh, let's do a song.
Guys,
No,
like,
perfect
we're gonna edit
timing
this
for
one out
another song.
later.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a song that I've it's been in my mind this week. It's a song that I wrote that I never really played much. I play it
Cool.
yeah, only when I do like solo shows, like really by myself. that I'll play the song. I never recorded or anything, but it's kind of about being pissed off at the South, you know, like being like, so I never like, I grew up in the North. I grew up in the South. Sorry, I take that back. I grew up in the South, but my parents are from the North, right?
I'm a Yankee.
Okay,
He's
so
kinda-
where are you from?
New York,
Oh,
Jersey, New York.
Cool. You grew up there?
Yeah, I
And
grew
now
up
you
in the
live-
Jersey
And now
Shore.
you live here?
Yeah, I graduated college and then moved to LA, spent 24 years there, and now I'm here in
I
Atlanta.
gotcha. Cool.
Alright.
Yeah. So I grew up here, and yeah, and there's a lot of things I love about the South, and I learned bluegrass music, and I don't think I ever would have learned that if I wasn't here, and so but there's some mixed emotions with a lot of things and the people here and things that people believe, and that I just feel
Ding,
like
ding.
I don't quite fit, you know, and maybe you get that
Yeah,
feeling too.
yeah. Absolutely.
And so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very much what this song is about. Is like it's just that feeling that you just don't fit. You never fit. You never quite fit. And I don't know. I think it's relevant. It's been in my mind this week because of everything that's happening here in Atlanta, and how the extreme of this viewpoint might be felt by more people in a much larger way than me, and I maybe don't have room to talk, but here's the song. It's called What Do We Do Now? Oh, what do we do now? Oh, my love. And whoa, what do we do now, my love? 'Cause I caught the last train from Dixie. The streetlights were faded behind, and I even stopped to remember the good. Yes, I tried. If they're gonna laugh while I'm bleeding, at least let them look in my eyes, so I can just smile when they find in the end there's no prize. Oh, what do we do now? Oh, my love. Oh, what do we do now, my love? So put down your flags of rebellion, 'cause you've never fired your guns. You cower in fear behind words of a fortunate son. And whoa, what do we do now? Oh, my friends. And whoa, what do we do now, my friends? Oh, straight from Dixie. The streetlights were faded behind, and I even stopped to remember the good. Yes, I tried. Oh, what do we do now? Oh, my love. Oh, what do we do now, my love? What do we do now, my love? What do we do now, my love?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
That was lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's one of those songs that just I never really planned to write. It just was. It was you sat down. You sat down. You pulled out your guitar one day, and that's what you started singing. And
Is it sort of like a ballad?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, ballad's a weird word because ballad like traditionally means a story in song form, right?
Right.
So there's very little story. I think there's very little narrative there. It's kind of a couple little poetic pictures.
Top off the glass.
So, but I think that
More you drink, more you
because the more colloquial use of the word ballad ends up being, kind of slow song, not fast, energetic, funky song or like sing alongable pop song, but just slow emotional song, which so in that sense it's a ballad, but I don't know, I have a tough time with that terminology. I don't think it's
Okay.
So
What do you think it is then? I mean, what is that song then?
it's a folk. I just call it a folk song. I don't know.
Okay.
Folk songs. It's like, okay, so I don't know because these terminologies are so not well defined.
he was
right?
about to say folk ballad.
You better get it right.
No, I
How about
wasn't about to say.
folk ballad?
Yeah, folk ballad. Folk ballad would be appropriate, I think.
Right.
I mean,
But
you
it's
can
like-
always come up with your own term too.
Well, it's like what was what was your Bob Dylan song? He rarely told. He rarely told narratives, right? He rarely had characters in the beginning, middle, and end.
Writes
to the
his
story,
Minnesota.
right?
This guy, Sean. I will say that.
He was more inspired by like the romantic poets. It's like
Yeah. Poet.
which was a Bob Dylan song, right? So, but it was folk music in a way. It was based off folk music, but a lot of times I think folk music has this connotation of like things that are retold person to person, right? I think that's what a folk song lends itself to being, is something that's translated not necessarily from storyteller to audience, but from person to person to person. And that's what kind of folk music means in the larger sense of like around the world, these folk songs that are told from mother to child, from child to other child to, right? So in that sense, I don't have an answer for that question, is what I'm trying to say. In the
No
longest
worries,
way possible.
So for me, like a solid touchstone for like listening to that was David Gray.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And now, granted, that's piano versus guitar, but it's a similar structure, and it's not necessarily a story set to song, but it's a theme or an idea told in a sort of a slow, somewhat melancholy kind of way. Like,
Yeah.
look, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah. There's
want
a
to
couple.
communicate that to you.
Okay, yeah, there's a feeling. I think with a David Gray song, it's like there's a feeling that's important, right? And
Yeah.
and he's trying to tell you. He's trying to give you some references to some reference points to think about in order to get to that feeling, right? So I think that's definitely like a good metaphor, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You don't want to say too much. I think in a song, like, you don't have time to say too much. You don't have a time to like give a whole storyline. To invent all these, like in a novel, you can invent all these characters. You give them a backstory. You can show how they've developed. They develop from beginning to end for the better. But you don't have time for that in a song. So right. So you just have these.
Well, that's why you have albums.
Right. Oh, sure. If someone, yeah. So you have Tommy, or by the Who, or you have
Let's say, unless
The
you're Billy
Wall.
Joel,
right.
like Piano Man, great. That's the most characters I've ever heard in a song.
You know what? That's true. So I take that completely back because of Billy Joel's Piano Man and how he develops characters, so many characters in one stanza each, and defines them so well very quickly. And that's completely brilliant.
He is a very unique artist, though.
I love Billy Joel. But those characters in the song, to my point, don't go on to do anything else. They don't go on to have an event or anything.
No, they just exist in that moment.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly, exactly. And that's my point.
Do you know this archetype? Do you know this archetype? Yes.
In a song, you only have these little brief moments to paint this small little picture, this tiny little picture. And sometimes that's like, this is just, this is how you should feel, or this is how, right, this is this smaller character. This is a glimpse into this world. This is this very specific moment about how we kiss for the first time, right? And that's all you get. That's all the time you get. And it's very different than a movie or a book or a novel or any kind of thing like that.
I like when music gives me a moment, but expands that moment to really reflect and see all the
Both sides of
aspects of that same moment.
Right.
So it takes that moment and expands it to be that full amount of time.
Yeah.
I like music for that.
Yeah.
To Sean's point, like the first kiss lasts 15 seconds.
Right.
You have a 3.5 minute song like that. That gets to do exactly what Ty is saying. It gets to bring that out to go like, oh yeah, the elation and the fireworks and the intimacy and the I don't know what happens next kind of feeling, and like basically yes to both of that. Like that makes absolute sense.
You're certainly like expanding upon. If you have a 15-second moment, you get a 3-minute song to expand upon 15 seconds. But certainly that 15 seconds lasts your whole life with you, right? Like you always remember that moment. So it's not just that 15 seconds, but it's not a 2.5 hour documentary, at the same time, like.
Yeah, but see, the reverse of that for the people listening, you've got a song that ties back to a significant point in your life also. Like, there are memories attached to so many songs that I still listen to from my childhood, my teenage years, that it's nostalgia. It just takes me back to that moment. And that's fantastic about music.
Do you mean the moment that you first heard that song, or do you mean the moment that the song's about?
No, the moment in my life where that song was happening at the same time.
Right.
Like for instance,
well,
I can explain this one for you right now.
Well, it's also the same thing. If there's a song about somebody's first kiss, it'll make you think about your first kiss.
Right.
It works that way too.
Like in California, me and Carlos, we won this trip to California to go to the country. And we flew into Sacramento and we got this car rental and we were driving and we went to the winery and we decided, we're going to go to the coast before sunset. And we're listening to the brand new, the band Stick Figure?
No.
No.
I mean, I do if that helps. But
Check them out. They're
It's
very good.
It's reggae, but it's really
very mellow.
Yeah,
very
it's
sweet.
the best chill music ever.
And so
Right.
we're listening to this album on the way while we're driving on this windy road down the Russian River to the coast of California at Sonoma County.
Right.
And, it's one of those things where it becomes almost like the soundtrack of that moment of your life.
Yeah.
Where
Right.
the song is called Once in a Lifetime. And, we're driving down the road and, we're never going to do this again.
Right.
But you hear that song and it takes you back.
Takes you back, and it's like, and Carlos, he just stopped working with us at Canoe just this last week, and I've worked with him.
that's right.
I've worked with him for probably 5 or 6 years,
Yeah.
and it's somebody that I've known for a really long time, and now it's going to even mean that much more because I'll think about Carlos now with this song.
Yeah, and it becomes
Hold on.
threefold, right?
Carlos
It
is
becomes
not at Canoe anymore?
Now he
No,
quit.
Carlos had his last day. Sunday?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, in that point, the song becomes like threefold, right? Because like there's one that the artist that created it had this moment, right? That they experienced, the emotion they were creating, that they were trying to express, and then there's the moment where you heard that and connected it with your moment, and whether or not that was what they intended or not is irrelevant, but that is now your moment. And then there's this third moment where now you get to reflect on the past. With both these, and all three of those like combine in one glorious trifecta, if you will.
The most serendipitous moment I've ever had. There's a band, or basically a guy who went by The Streets. Really popular.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yes. So
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
album,
I
Grand Don't Come for Free.
I love that record. Oh my
So
God.
yeah, Grand Don't Come for Free. There's a song called "Dry Your Eyes, Mate." It was like a breakup song.
Original
it was
Pirate Radio. You're listening to The Streets.
The Streets.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like
So-
I
love it.
do.
So I mean I have all of his albums because I really enjoyed all of his stuff, and so there was "Dry Your Eyes, Mate." It was basically a breakup song.
Right.
And I'd heard the song a couple of times. There was actually a U.S. release versus his UK release. I can't remember who he partnered with, but someone else did some of the vocals on the song in the US release. So it was like big on the radio. And I had a huge breakup. A girl I did for 2 years in college. Just shit went sideways, no good anymore. I got in my car. It was literally raining. I turned on the radio, and that song came on, and I was just like, oh my God, it's happening! I'm gonna listen to you, man. I'm gonna stop crying in a second. Hold on. and it was one of those things. Like now I hear that song, like I loved it before when I heard it first, and then I liked the U.S. release, and then I heard it in the car at that moment. I was like, oh my God, this is stupidly perfect to happen at this moment now when this is happening. And now when I listen to it, I go, yeah, I remember being that broken and hurt and hearing the song, and it's this weird melancholy at the same time of going, yeah, I feel a little bit better. Even now, I just feel better in general because I remember that moment feeling better carrying on to this future current state. And it's a really wonderfully powerful thing that I basically went to juxtapose that with being, yes, I agree. That was fun. And I'm glad that happened. And I actually pulled that up on my phone. Yes, we can play it, but you can play it if you want to, or play something else.
Oh, my very first
Or not. Story.
that I can tie back to a specific song is Desperado by the Eagles.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very nice.
Long night.
Sure. I'm on board so far.
Now,
I've heard of these Eagles. Go on.
so my dad is a musician, and he has been a musician since he picked up a guitar at 6 and taught himself how to play. And I wasn't raised with my dad. It was one of those, I live with my mom, I visit him, for a couple months in the summer and every other holiday, whatever. And
McDonald's exchange.
in Portland, Oregon, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I did grow up in Seattle, or north of Seattle. But my dad was always, 4 or 5 hours away. But there was 3 years that I did live with him, and it was like kindergarten through 2nd grade. So very impressionable age. And he was still trying to be more than just a casual musician. And he took me with him to a recording studio. And that is the only song that I remember him singing in that studio. So now every time I go to visit him, I make him sing it again. Just something about how he sings it. And that's what's stuck with me for so long. So we're getting on maudlin here.
Yeah.
Remember, John Mellencamp is what my dad made me listen to a lot growing up.
I still hate John Mellencamp.
He's gonna play.
I thought he was going to play Mellencamp. I'm like, nice.
I could, but I got it's Little Ditty by Jack and Diane. What else did he have there?
Good up in the hot land.
Honestly, you know what? The song that impressed me, that like really made a moment, is Traveling Wilburys. What's his name?
Oh, man. Tom Petty? George Harrison? Bob Dylan?
No.
Roy Orbison?
Thank you.
Good job, Sean.
That's
Indeed.
the Traveling Wilburys right there. That's
Roy Orbison. That song, it was that summer that we were at camp up in northern Jersey. Like the whole family went out and we were on this campground, and that was the song that played over and over and over on the jukebox. And so every time I hear that song, I just instantly am transported back to, God, how old were we? I think I was
That's so great about music.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, something around there.
You're like, it immediately brings you back to that moment where you're like,
oh,
Minnesota, you're sitting by the lake as a young kid and you're watching fireflies and this fireworks shooting off over the lakes, and you know
what I did just before this?
It's Pretty Woman, actually. That's funny.
Oh God, what'd you do, Sean?
I do music for these camp programs for there's 2 of them that I work for. Camp Kudzu for kids with diabetes, type 1 diabetes.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Camp, you know it? You're familiar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Camp
My
Sunshine
brother had.
for Camp Sunshine for kids with cancer. But just
Wow.
before this, like literally 10 minutes before I logged on to y'all and I finished the other Zoom chat we were doing, because they had to cancel camp this year for Camp Kudzu for kids with type 1 diabetes, and I've been doing music programs with them for, I don't know, eight years or so. Before that I was a counselor, so it's been like 11 years I've been with them. But they had to cancel camp this year, of course, because of the whole the virus and everything. And so they did like a virtual camp this week, right?
Right.
And so the conclusion, though, of the virtual camp, of everything that they do in the virtual camp, is like these music programs. We basically, me and another guy who play music, we did like an hour where we just like swap songs, right? And but what's so crazy is we have this like, there's this tradition that we've built that's like based on these songs, and nothing's like that special of a song. It's a lot of classic rock. It's a lot of songs you would think like "Lean on Me" and stuff.
Very
and-
camp.
Yeah, there's a few like campy songs, but I don't know. The one thing that brings everyone to, we're doing virtual camp, right? So there's like they're dividing people in the cabins. They have these chats. It's like it's hard. It's really hard. Like figure out how do you do this? Like how do you like keep this community together of kids with diabetes and like connect because it's such a powerful thing for these kids to have like finally someone like them, you know. And it's like how do you really pull them together? You know, as this group, and so, but it was really awesome just being able to do like because we've been building this like these tradition of songs over the years that like we could come together on this big Zoom chat with like you know however many kids and be playing songs and you know everyone knows these songs and like that's like the event like that's the thing, you know, that's the finale of camp. Like that's it's that we all is that they all can unite with these songs that we all sing and when we're when we're together in person, everyone gets there's a lot more physical jumping around and you know, lean on me. People are leaning on each other, but you know, but it's the thing that I think you know brought us through for this whole entire week. You know, and really uniting everyone together and being able to have a united camp as a camp, you know, was being able to get together and sing songs. So I don't know.
That's awesome. What were these groups again?
So Camp Kudzu was the one I just did earlier today.
And Camp
past
Sunshine.
week. And then Camp Sunshine. We're doing another week of Camp Kudzu next week. And then the next 2 weeks after that are Camp Sunshine for kids with cancer.
Wow.
Which are they're two different worlds a little bit, but the same thing. I mean, we do the same music programs essentially for both of them. But
So what got you specifically doing into the Camp Kutsu with the diabetes?
do you mean what? Why did I start going?
Yeah, exactly. What got you into doing that? Why did you start?
Yeah, so it was a friend in college. It was just like a buddy of mine in college who had been volunteering for them because he lived down the street from like the executive director of the camp or whatever and was friends with like their kids and stuff. So he had been like going volunteering, and he was in college with me and he was just like recruiting. They were just like needing volunteers, right? So I just said, yeah, sure, I'll go. I show up as a volunteer for the week, and so I did that for the first week, and then I came back a couple more years. But they found they found out I played music because I certainly like brought my instruments and stuff and was like playing. And they found out, so some of the guys that are still doing music now were doing music back then, and I just started playing with them, you know, as you meet anyone and stuff, and then playing out them in the real world and connecting with them. So a few years later, they just called me and brought me in like to like do the music programs with Kudzu first. Because I think one of the guys like needed a week off or something, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, hell yeah, I would absolutely love to do this. So and then so I did that. I did Kudzu like music for like 2 years, and then Sunshine had the same situation where like one of the guys like couldn't do it, and then so I jumped in there, and then and just started doing all of it. There's a bunch of like year-round programs too that they do. Like they have family, like they have like families, like new families and stuff, like come in and do like a weekend program, and then there's like teen, like a teen group and a sibling group. Sometimes sometimes like some of the siblings of the campers. I guess the idea is that they feel kind of neglected sometimes because with the cancer kids, not necessarily with the diabetes kids, but with the cancer kids that so much attention gets to the patient the
The
patient.
disease itself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that they're also having a moment, and they get to go to they get to go to camp and everything, and you know everyone cries over them and stuff. That they sometimes the sibling often feels neglected a little bit. So there's like programs for the siblings and stuff. So anyway, so that was kind of the progression of how I got involved. But yeah, I love it because it so many times I go out and I play music and I tour and I play these big shows and I play for a lot of people who love what I do and everything, and it's cool. But like sometimes you go home and you're like, we all just got drunk and had a good time, and that's cool. But like, you know, I don't know. So I don't you when you I don't know when I play for these kids and the enthusiasm they have and the community that I see that gets built because of it, you know, is just so powerful that it really makes me like. I think I probably would have quit. Like I was telling the story about how all the guys in my band quit music, and I probably would have quit too, to be honest, if it wasn't for the camps that I work for, because you don't see the power. You don't really see you see everyone got drunk and had a good time, right? At any show, but you don't like all the conversations we were just having about how that song like lasted your whole life, and you think back on it, like you don't get to see that, you know, and you go home after a long tour and you're just exhausted and you had a good time, but you know you didn't make that much money and you kind of feel like shit. And but then when you get to see it like so firsthand, but the power of music that you're having, you know, is, I think that's really what's kept me going, you know. So I don't know.
You know what? I love that because to talk from the other perspective, from the kid's perspective, my little brother was diabetic from the age of 3.
Right.
And, you know, from watching him growing up, is he couldn't do the things that other kids could do. Like, he had to take a shot every day.
Right.
He had to twice a day. And he couldn't go out and eat all the candy he got from trick-or-treating. He had to, you know, give it up. And so you look at him, how he grew up and how he was, and like how he kind of felt like he was missing out on things.
Right.
And, you know, and you kind of look at him from that perspective, from the kid's perspective, and, you know, you got to feel for him on that end too, because they don't get to participate on the things that normal kids get to do. And, you know, same time, you know, they're growing up and they know they're not normal.
Right. But suddenly they're in this like situation where they're normal, you know, and like this is it's just like
everybody's there. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a lot of them. It's the first night they spend away from home. You know, they don't get to go to the sleepovers with other friends because their parents.
Who knows what will happen?
Well, their parents have to check their blood sugar every night. You know, in the middle of the night, or at least be paying attention to it. So to trust like another random parent to like be paying attention to it, or you know, whatever, like they can't really do that. So yeah, I mean, it's like they find a home, you know, in a sense, and and I don't understand that struggle, you know, and I didn't have to live it, and it's humbling in that way.
Yeah, from his perspective, you could see, like, especially looking back at now, because he's not with us anymore, and you know this was, you know, years he dealt with it his whole life basically.
Right.
And you could tell that he always felt like he was always trying to catch up with everybody and trying to make sure that he's involved in what everybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but at the same time, you know,
trying to keep up with everybody isn't necessarily the best thing when you're dealt with something like that.
Yeah. And
I gotta go to bed.
all right.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
I'm not far behind, actually.
Yeah. Usually
Try to
when one
wrap it
goes
up.
like dominoes.
It's
Right.
midnight.
All right. Well, should we have a grand finale
Sounds
You got
good.
a song for us, Sean, at all?
or song?
You have another song for us?
Yeah, I'll do a cover song, something just fun and to send us.
Yes.
Do it out.
Let's brighten it up a little bit for the ending. You just kind of went
Yeah.
somber.
Yeah, we'll brighten it up for the ending a little bit. Man walks down the street, says, why am I softening now? Why am I softening now? Rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a opportunity. It's in the graveyard and bone digger. Dogs in the moonlight. Far away from my well-lit door. Mr. Beer Belly. Get these mutts away from me. So I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. Cause if you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. Cause I can call you Betty, Betty when you call me, you can call me out. A man walks down the street, says, why am I short of attention? Got a short little span of attention. Whoa, my eyes so long. Where's my life and family? What if I die here? Who'll be my role models when all my role models are gone? They duck back down the alley with some roly-poly little bat-faced girl. All along, they were incidents and accidents. They were hints and allegations. Cause if you be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. Cause I can call you Betty, Betty when you call me, you can call me out. Call me out. Nah, nah, nah. It's a street in a strange world. Maybe it's the third world. Maybe it's his first time around. Doesn't speak the language. He holds no currency. He is a foreign man. He is surrounded by the sound of cattle in the marketplace, the scatterlings in orphanages. He looks around, he sees angels in the architecture. He says, Amen, hallelujah. As if you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. Cause I can call you Betty, and Betty when you call me, you can call me out. Call me out. Na 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 na. na 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 na.
Yes. Dude, you know
All
what?
right.
I feel like I'm a better person for listening to that song just now.
That was awesome.
I'm glad
Great.
I'm glad I can make you a better person.
That was
That was
I love
awesome.
your own background. That's hysterical.
that was awesome.
I got the
That
loop
was-
pedal down here. I'm gonna show it to you with the camera. That's what it looks like down there. The loop. I hit.
Awesome.
That was great. That was I'm sorry Alicia left before you sang that song.
I like how you layered that stuff. That's pretty fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I do a lot of playing by myself. I have a band that I play with too when I'm touring. I'm playing big shows. Obviously, there's a band, but in between, there's a lot of playing by yourself, which I never used to do because there was when I had my old band, it was like we showed up as a band. That was it. If one person couldn't make it, we didn't do the show. But now it's like I gotta fill the gaps with with this pedal on my foot.
You know what?
I've learned to play.
I am thoroughly impressed tonight because when I saw you this afternoon, I was thinking we're gonna get Ugly Kid Joe tonight, and we got the best of the best. I think tonight from the show because you are an amazing musician.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You
Really enjoyed.
you blew my socks off tonight.
And I'm looking forward to that Beery Traveler theme song, by the way.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I've got some ideas and I couldn't quite put it together.
You know what?
tonight, but,
Given time, I'm
I'll
sure
get
you will.
something. I'll get you something.
I look
I'm sure.
forward to it.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Give me some Gordon Lightfoot on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Some Lost at Sea, getting drunk.
Little James Taylor
Right.
thrown in there, right? Little Bob Dylan, James Taylor, Gordon Lightfoot.
Yes.
See.
All right, well, I'm out, guys. Thank you very much. Have a
Yes.
great night.
Good night,
I'm gonna
everyone.
end.
Until next time. It's been fun.
Cheers,
Yeah.
Sean. It was good to see you.
Thank
Night,
you.
guys.
Everybody have a good night. I'm looking at y'all on grid. Keep switching
Hi,
back.
everybody.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
All
Thanks
right.
thanks for tuning in. This is the YouTube version, right? Yeah.
Sure. Whenever I put that together. Next
Whichever
week. It'll be
drink-
out next week.
Whichever drink I'll drink right now.
Whatever.
I
Good night.
drink all the drink.